Alrighty everyone, welcome to the world of Project Zomboid once again, and it took me a long time to realize that I never had a general list of survival rules for the game. So today, I hope to change that, and I've made 10 rules that came to my mind when I could think about increasing your odds of survival in Project Zomboid, a game that often claims the lives of many. I hope you enjoy it. I see this one too many times, and I'm actually a massive culprit of breaking this rule as well. And it's definitely one of the more important out there, but it's pretty simple in practice, but hard to make a habit. Take things slow. Project Zomboid can be a very stressful game that can make people make a lot of rash decisions without thinking of the consequences. You don't need a call to action immediately, but rather than just doing, contemplate, and then act on the actions. Do you really need to run at this point? Or can you save some well-needed stamina and just outwalk that group of 10 zombies that got aggroed on you? Will climbing that tall fence really save you time instead of just going around? Do we really need to go on a looting run when we have enough just to get by and could instead focus on the surrounding safety and defense of your base? Taking things one step at a time and asking yourself these questions can really save your life, so it's just something to keep in mind. This one also stacks on top of taking things slow. Practicing mindfulness in the apocalypse where one wrong move can spell death for your hours of progress can mean a world of difference. So one rule that I would promote would to keep caution and beware your surroundings. It can be very easy to tunnel vision on something and get completely blindsided by a zombie that slipped past the cracks. Always keep an eye all around and check your back as often as possible because all it takes is one sneaky zombie to end a run. Also, keeping a level head when raiding indoor locations is great. Outdoors, you can always run away, but as soon as you get inside, your options become much more limited. Checking windows and doors thoroughly can really save your character. A simple knock before opening and checking every window before entering a suspicious home should do the job. Project Zomboid is a great example of a game that can also be an ego checker. No matter how good you are at the game, you are bound to slip up, make a dumb decision, and pay greatly for it. So even if you do have an axe and are super confident about taking out a horde of 20, are you prepared to deal with low endurance after fighting the horde and the events that happen after? Or maybe you accidentally bump into one too many zombies, which sends your character right into a deadly tumble. It doesn't take too long to just think out a plan of either diversion or one to safely clear out the horde bit by bit using sight lines and aggro ranges. There is no point in taking any unnecessary risks. Even if you are confident in your abilities, know when to fight and pick them wisely. Survivors often take way too much than they actually need in this game, and I find myself doing the same exact thing as well. The thing is that your character doesn't need that much to survive, and if you're near civilization, you can handle most of your needs pretty easily. So instead of taking every last can of food when you could better use that weight, think about what you actually need and how long you could go for without it. By doing this, you both save your character space for more important items such as tools and skill magazines. This also goes for prioritizing tasks in general. Instead of worrying about loot instantly, taking initiative to secure the surrounding area or using that time to watch Life and Living might be a better use of your time. This is a culprit that kills off a lot of players without them even realizing, and that is the Moodle. One of the most important features in Project Zomboid, keeping an eye on these is paramount to your survival, and these should definitely take a priority in your life. The ones you should keep an eye out for are exhaustion, which affects both speed and strength of your character, and the tiredness moodlet, which can have a really nasty effect on your character's line of sight and combat ability. Though every one of these Moodles has their own downsides and upsides, and it gets even worse when these Moodles are able to stack on top of each other, because that's when the real fun and pain begins. So always be proactive in keeping your Moodles as minimal as possible. It will save you a lot of heartache, and it's one of the rules I want you to take away from this video. Always make sure that they are at a minimum. Escape plans are great to have, both small and large scale. So I'm not just talking about having a clear room or door that you can run out should things hit the fan during an indoor raid, but also preparing a bit more large scale, like having an escape vehicle with emergency rations just in case your base gets overrun by the undead. Having these plans set up can really save your run because instead of being caught like a fish out of water, You can recover a bit more quickly than before. You can even add on to this by having multiple caches and safe homes in the world. It's a lot better of a feeling than being completely lost after taking a big loss like that. Or at the very least, you can prepare for the chopper event, which will definitely throw some of your plans out the window. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but the main way zombies will get attracted to you is going to be either through sight or sound. And sound can make a pretty big difference. So it goes to say that you shouldn't shoot guns, or drive a loud truck throughout the neighborhood blaring off the engine, or run all over the place. These sounds attract a lot of zombies from the area, and you can be in one hell of a mess just after a bit of this. So if you do drive, go for a low profile car with a good muffler, or just park on the outskirts of town and walk the rest of the way. Instead of running, you can always crouch jog behind a couple homes to evade the undead as well. And lastly, don't shoot guns, period. It almost never works, and it will usually end up in your death. Staying on your feet and being on the move can be really helpful. Now, there are times when you do need to make a minute rest to get your eggs in a row. Though when you do pick these times, pick times and locations that are safe to do so. If you're looking to lighten your load in your inventory, pick a low-key spot, or even better off, pick a closed-off room where you can just rest up for a minute. I've been snuck up on too many times while checking my map, or just dumping loot. It isn't even funny. So finding that balance will be essential for your survival. Okay, now we just got done with a pretty big looting run. There's currently a storm outdoors. What can you do? The cool thing about Zomboid is that you can take advantage of your time no matter the circumstance. Instead of just waiting around, you can cook a meal to level up your cooking skill, read a book and get a nice multiplayer for a future skill, disassemble some furniture to level up your carpentry or metalworking. Hell, you can even go work out for the time being to slowly work up to that next level of fitness or strength. And if it wasn't storming, you could totally go outside for a bit and forage a bit for materials, or just fashion a spear out and go fishing. So try and take advantage of your time as much as possible, because there are definitely some ways you can fit in a little bit of extra tasks. Lastly, this one's gonna be a little bit more arbitrary compared to the rest, but I think it definitely has a spot here. And that's to set goals for your character. A massive kill for this game can simply be boredom. Project Zomboid is an open-ended survival game, so there will come a time that survival simply becomes monotonous. A result of this monotony might make you more inclined to kill off your character in dumb ways because they made it, and the lack of goals can definitely exemplify that feeling. So when you do start a new game, it's great to have a goal in mind. It can be as simple as surviving the winter, or clearing out a massive building, or as wacky as collecting all the Spiffo plushies in a massive microwave pile of doom. Anything is better than nothing when boredom is your own enemy. If anything, you can always look up what other people are doing themselves to get inspiration as well, at least until multiplayer hits. Then, that should make things a little bit more interesting. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more juicy content. I won't keep you all any longer. Peace out and have a fantastic day.